Welcome to the CWK Report. I'm Steve Liebman. Thanks for joining us. We talked to the community in Gunnedah about the Vickery South project, and these were some of the views expressed by the business owners and locals in the region.
We're definitely a rural regional community that's growing, an agriculturally based community which has mining as a very big part of the local economy and the local fabric. And we have had mining in our community for the best part of the last 130 years. But what we're seeing now is a transition from a phase of largely boutique operations or truck and shovel operations to a period now where we're seeing some vastly different proposals on a huge scale, the likes of which we've never seen in this community before. We're talking proposals that are on the horizon of around 8 to 10 million tonnes a year of production of coal, when we've been used to seeing 1.5 to 2.5 million tonnes per year. So that's the sort of difference in the scale of what we're seeing at the moment. I guess economically the sector has been extremely good for our community. There will obviously, as there are with any development, and especially large-scale developments, other impacts as well, socially, economically, and also environmentally. And so as a community it's going to be a big challenge for us to manage that impact. It's certainly not a question of saying, no, we don't want mining, or yes, we love it, give us more. It's simply an issue of realising that the reality is there will be a continuing expansion of the resources sector in this region, and as a community or as a group of communities in the region is managing those impacts to try and mitigate the negatives as much as possible. There has to be, and there is, an appropriate location for all industry, for agriculture to be thriving, and for mining too as well, because there are some macroeconomic issues here. The national economy and indeed the state economy relies on a thriving resources sector to derive not only employment but a whole host of income for government as well, to provide services across the state. As I said, it is about location, and generally the concern that's been expressed in the community is about what are the appropriate locations for these operations, making sure that employees who work in these mines actually live within the communities, that they don't fly in and fly out, that if we're going to have a large business with large jobs, we want to maximise the benefits to the community, and that can only be achieved by having the majority of the workforce living and being part of the community, bringing their families here. Environmentally, there are also, of course, some concerns about really the broader issue of emissions and whatnot. Again, those decisions are made at a much higher level than here. On the positive side, all you need to do is walk down the main street of Gunnedah and think about how it was 5-6 years ago. There is absolutely no comparison. Gunnedah is definitely a much more thriving community today than it was 5 or 6 years ago, and mining has played a role in that. There's no doubt about that. It has been a catalyst for a whole host of other development across a number of sectors in our community. So from that perspective, it's been quite positive. There are a lot more job opportunities now than there used to, but yeah, there are a whole host of impacts of the mining sector, and really most of them we won't see fully develop for many, many years.
Farming and mining have worked in harmony for a lot of years, over a century in the Gunnedah area, but we have a very extensive farming industry. It's very important to the Shire. But also the resources we have in coal and gas are also very important, and I believe there is an interdependence there between agriculture and these resources. The farming sector is having a lot of trouble in the last couple of decades with rising production costs, very serious rises, and also competing with imports. One of the ways of mitigating this is to use the resources to maintain competitive energy, competitive fuel, competitive fertiliser, competitive freight, and start to mitigate these costs and be competitive against the imports that are coming in. And I believe if agriculture doesn't embrace the advantages we have here, it could very well be to its detriment in the long term. The Gunnedah Basin is something like we have the energy resources of a Middle Eastern country or something sitting under the greater Gunnedah Basin, and I think there has been a lot of contention about exploration, but My personal view is I think that exploration is absolutely necessary. I think a nation that didn't understand what resources it had, the quality, the quantity or the availability of them, I think would be like very silly really. I think it's important the nations know the resources they have and how they can exploit them to the benefit of all people.
And that's our CWK report. Till next time, I'm Steve Liebman.